Welcome everybody. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamers, session number 46. We are sharing actionable insights, dropping knowledge from our UA, game design and monetization day-to-day jobs. We're also discussing latest industry news from time to time while having so much fun. But let's not forget, this is still a 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe, so please not take it too seriously. We have Felix Braberg here, Jakub Remjar and myself, Matej Lančarič, and a new camera, or not the new camera, fucking moving camera from Jakub. Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, we've acknowledged you got a new camera, Remo. It's really nice, but you can't move around front and back the whole podcast like that.
This is so annoying. This is so fucking annoying.
And he's so happy about it as well. That's more annoying.
Yeah, I see. He's moving all the time. Okay, so I think listeners, you won't see it, but if you want to see like how he moves around, please just take a look at the YouTube. Also, while you are there, definitely subscribe if you didn't do so before. Happy New Year. Happy new fucking year to everybody. And to your new camera as well. Oh, no, new camera. It's just a new app. The camera you had already before, so it's fine.
Exactly.
It's
Happy
okay.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh my God, it zooms out.
Oh my God, dude. That's so distracting, man. It's so distracting.
All right. Never mind.
All right. Let's just go. I can't.
Yeah, let's just go.
Let's
Let's just start. I think some of you already asked for this, and Felix is also pretty happy about the app business. And I got like recently one email regarding my newsletter that I should definitely talk more about apps. So today it's not only about gaming, it's not about gaming at all, but it's about apps. I mean, it's okay. Yeah.
We're getting into the app game.
It's very connected anyway. And so one important thing to mention, we were the top of the list for mobile marketing podcasts. Top 10. So thank you very much, guys, from Singular, especially John, for mentioning us in the article. We are very happy about it. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored.
If you've built a mobile game for iOS or Android, you've experienced user churn. You can win those users back, but it's getting more and more expensive, even more so to acquire totally new users. Enter cross-promotion with Adikteev. By identifying your users likely to churn early, you can showcase another game in your portfolio before they leave forever, transforming a lost user into a new user, increasing your revenues. Learn more now at Adikteev.com.
Amazing. So, Jakub, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I can start.
Amazing. But please don't move.
Yeah, don't move too much because it's super distracting.
Okay, don't laugh as well.
Anyway, we're talking about apps today. So I took some case studies, or let's say examples that I can talk about, which demonstrates how monetization differs in apps. But does it really differ? It's more of a I would say, evolution of what's being used in games.
This is the last time you're using that camera app on this podcast.
Yeah,
it's like 100%. Yeah, no way this is happening again.
So we're going to talk about Redecor, which is less of a game, more of an app, or more of a game, less of an app. Let's see. And then we're going to talk about our favorite Duolingo. For those who
why is it our favorite?
Because they have great monetization.
They execute super well, man. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a gaming app that hides as an app.
Yeah. It's like good. An app that hides as a game and you learn in process.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we have that. And then one other thing to go with it is Kahoot, which is like a subscription.
It's our favorite app.
Yeah, that's also our favorite that we use a lot. So why not? So let's start with Redecor. Redecor, for those who don't know, is in that special category of something between a game and something between an app. It pretty much is an iteration of Design Home. That's the famous game from Crowdstar, which was pretty much very, very, I would say, it was very trending at some point, but it pretty much created its own genre of people that are not really into games, but in the end they are playing a game even though they don't know pretty much, where they're creating this kind of decoration genre, which is like, I would say, the real decoration genre, not the one that you have in like Gardenscapes and all these other match 3 games where you just have illusion of choice. Here you have actual choices. If I understand correctly, the home design game has even promotion for real furniture, like real world furniture. So you can even kind of, promote your, I don't know if there's IKEA or whatever's there, but they definitely have connection to the real world there.
Well, maybe if you didn't do a surface level review, then you would know what kind of cooperation they have.
Furniture?
Yeah.
It's a lot of American furniture.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's great. But anyway, Redecor is an iteration on that, because in Design Home, you build the whole thing in 3D and they have all the furniture in 3D. Redecor is a game where am I saying it wrong? Redecor is the company and the game is what? No, Redecor is the game and the company is forget that. We'll check them out. Anyway, what they did is that you are decorating something that's more of an image, not a 3D thing. So what you're changing is pretty much just the textures. And what's really interesting that happened during even the development of the game is that they switched their monetization model from you being able to buy things directly in the shop, and they put in our good old gacha there.
Yeah.
Which of course skyrocketed the thing. So what it means is that you can buy some of the things when you're decorating those for few uses, but you cannot unlock the thing forever. You can unlock the thing forever in the gacha. And what's really interesting here is that this app or game, it doesn't really pose as a game. Even the whole interface and everything, UI is very, very sleek, and it looks like an app. But in the end, it uses the very typical gaming elements that are working perfectly on an audience that's not really looking for a game. So that's the main thing out of it. So gacha works great, even though you don't really expect like gaming people going into the app and like looking for their best, slots in gacha and everything. So that works great. They have their typical hard currency, soft currency loop there. So that's, I guess, normal. And the whole thing is based on this kind of very, very interesting voting system that's coming also from Design Home, where you vote on those designs and it's kind of player approved that this is like the better design out of the two, and everything pretty much is custom there. So that works great. And that's like a great example, like how to use pretty much streamline gaming monetization into something that's more of an app. But in the end, yeah, we can argue that this is more of a game. So let's move
I would
to
put
something
that more in the game category.
Yeah. Let's move to
category.
something that's definitely not a game, but it actually uses a lot of gaming monetization. So if we go one step further with our examples, there's the Duolingo app, which definitely is an app. This is not a game.
Yeah,
even though
respect for this app. Yeah. They killed on the game design.
If you game design,
they must have very good systems and vectors.
They do. Yeah, exactly. They really do.
So they're very innovative. Someone there definitely looks very closely onto casual game genre. So what their main thing is that they have the heart system from Match 3. So pretty much when you make mistakes during the courses, by the way, are laid down as a saga. Why not? So you're going through a journey of progression. They have the full-fledged rooster of characters and the mascot, the owl, that teaches you the things. Like it's very, very gamified. But as you go through the saga, each course have like, I don't know how many questions or whatever. I just randomly selected like Ukrainian course for starters and like went through some of it. And if you make a mistake, you lose one life, as you would lose one life within Candy Crush. That's normal. But what happens is that if you lose all of those, you can watch an ad to get one more life.
Yeah,
which is very good.
Yeah.
But it won't end there regarding the ads. Ads are also shown a little bit during the gameplay if I understand correctly, as interstitials.
Not gameplay, mate. App
Gameplay, okay.
usage.
App play.
Yeah, it's app
Right.
usage.
So you can get rid of those if you buy the subscription, which also gives you unlimited amount of lives, and you can go at your own pace as it's advertised. So that's one way to get rid of the ads. But also what they did, and this is really brilliant. Like for me, this is the most important thing. They build even hard currency into it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So you have gems, and if you earn gems, you can double the gems that you earned with an ad. And
it's so bad now that there was supposed to be a zooming out of or zooming in. Like, oh, that's brilliant. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's really good.
Camera move.
And then they have a free chest offer in the shop that you can claim for an ad. How would you use gems, if you ask, in this game? So actually, what people buy...
App, mate, not game. It's an app.
Game.
It's an app.
Sorry. So what people buy here in this app is streaks. And this is something very, very unique, because I don't think so I ever seen it in a game, not an app. So what can you buy here is pretty much you are playing the game for some time, and the game tries to encourage you to log in every day because you're keeping your streak and so on and so forth, because you're learning, Whatever something happens, you didn't log in, you're losing your streak. But if you pay, you can freeze it and keep it.
Yeah.
Therefore, you keep your really, really high number of login days that's nicely shining there, and you can continue, and you spend gems for that. So yeah, that's pretty unique, I would say, for an app. And actually, it's pretty much completely... I don't think so there's much app play benefits regarding that. If you keep
app
your
play, you mean app usage?
Usage benefits. So there's just this kind of a really, really nice high number there. So yeah, I even have those like streak freezes equipped now currently that I can use, and if I guess I don't look tomorrow, I still keep my streak. So, but I would say it's pretty subjective, because only people that are kind of into it regarding the app users consider it valuable, and the app can figure it out that this is value for them, so they monetize it. And this is really, really nice thing that they have there, that they pretty much were able to create value in their own internal economy, even though it's kind of very small and very shallow, and still they were able to monetize it. So that's like pretty great. And the ad placements are, like, I would say, pretty good. Like for a game, you could say it's pretty standard, but for an app, I think this is like next level in that category, because I haven't seen anything that's been this good. Have you tried this one or any similar like language apps?
No, I used the Duolingo for
hard?
some time. Yeah, of course, it's hard to switch. When I actually was trying to learn more Spanish, so I used that quite a lot. Then I dropped out because, fuck it.
You lost your streak, right? And you couldn't watch an ad.
I lost my streak.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I lost my streak, then I'm out.
It would surprise me. Like, I get the feeling, because I was using Duolingo before they made these changes, and then also after they used the changes. I'm trying to learn German. I'm really good at it.
You should.
Yeah. And then, like, you really know, they must have hired a game designer and like put full trust into him, because a lot of times when I deal with apps, especially on the ad side, usually like the founders of the company or people high up, they don't want to change things that often. So they must have given a full latitude to a game designer to actually make these changes. And they must have trusted that person a lot. So it's very impressive and very good to see.
Yeah, I dig up some numbers on the app.
Oh, you did?
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Using our second favorite data tool, or favorite?
No, it's like an article on the internet.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So some people started asking, which one is the best, or like our favorite, and the first favorite, or the second favorite.
I have a lot of hate for the second favorite one right now, so I don't want to name and shame.
Yeah. So what did I dig up is that in 2021, Duolingo generated 224.5 million in revenue from subscriptions. And this would represent roughly 90% of the company's total revenue for the year. So I guess the rest is done by ads. if I understood correctly, or some other streams of revenue that I don't understand. But yeah, it's still kind of very, very subscription heavy. So even though, they have these ad placements, I guess it's not that big. But it's even spoken by the CEO. They don't want to kind of, put you out of the experience of app usage. But one of the other key elements is that Duolingo's very, very heavy usage of A/B testing. And they said that the company runs around 500 tests every quarter to determine the effectiveness of CTA buttons, pricing tiers, and so forth. So I guess that's how they got into this current position. They have all these placements and everything because they, they're doing super
A/B test
well.
a lot.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I think this is the overall theme in this environment where apps are trying to implement some gaming-based monetization or like mobile games monetization, that you need to run a lot of A/B tests. You can run a lot of A/B tests because hopefully you have a lot of users there. And then, your users probably aren't that stingy as the one in game business, where immediately your Discord gets flooded because I have this feature that the other guy doesn't have, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I guess it's much more easier for you to do that. And on the other hand, you're probably doing anyway kind of smaller iteration with this. You're not really kind of we're changing now from gacha into like a direct payment model or something like that. So should be really easy to try to tinker something out.
So Remo, you said that Duolingo earned like 200 million in a year, and 10% of that was ad revenue.
But that was 2021. So
that's 2021. That's quite long ago, but that's still a lot. Like that's $20 million a year in advertising revenue. That's like 1.6 a month. That's like quite decent.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. There's this very nice case study on Google AdMob site that's called Duolingo partners with the AdMob platform to optimize mediation strategy and increase ads revenue by 70%. The problem is that I don't see the date of that article. So I don't know if this was before or after.
We should talk to our Google friends and ask for some
back channel information.
Yeah, but definitely, it's like very, very nice implementation. For me, the thing that
200 million that's very, very nice. Yeah, indeed.
No. That's
the ads are 20 million.
The ads,
that's 20. That's still okay. Still.
Yeah. But the 200 million that comes from the gems, that could be the streak freezing.
That's very subjective.
Yeah, don't know. But yeah, it's very interesting. But I would say this is like my way to go example when I'm asked always about like, tell me about an app that's done like gaming monetization, like implemented it properly.
Yeah, just for context as well. So they're earning about like 50 grand a day in ad revenue, which would make them a like medium-sized gaming publisher on the ad side. So yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, and that's a couple of years ago. So
yeah.
It could be much higher now.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will be way higher in 2020.
Last thing that I want to show off is Kahoot, our favorite quiz app that we use.
It's our favorite quiz app, yeah.
If you've seen us around on conferences. And I've been using Kahoot for like quite a long time, I would say, for like 5 to 6 years, probably. Even in university, I remember we were using it sometimes. But these guys are using mainly subscription. I didn't see any ads, or I don't think so. They have any. Yeah,
only subscription.
But this is pretty much, I would say, the mainstream way was being done currently in the app world, that you lock certain features behind subscriptions, and those features add value into your kind of app economy. So if you look at the Kahoot subscription tiers, what they are increasing is especially the scale. So the higher the subscription, the higher the scale of the whole thing, meaning that at the highest you can get 400 players per game, and the lowest you get just 100. And if I get free, it's like 25 or something. I don't remember what's the limit there. We were just like up to 50 or something. But yeah, if you're running a university course or something and you have the full, room of students and there's like 400 of them, you want to have the biggest subscription because they cannot participate. So that's a no-brainer. The other thing is that they have a lot of kind of quality of life features, and that's the usual way to go here. Like if you cannot really, cut features out of your app behind a subscription and you want to, give it to the user, it cannot be done because of the app design, because cutting something out would be like giving you a car with 2 wheels. Have a nice day. So if you cannot do that, sell comfort. that's like very, very, very good thing. Like I always talk about this when we talk about ARPGs. Pet of Exile does this. You want higher inventory, buy more inventory slots. You want, this and that, buy this thing, because it's very easy, very, I would say, convenient. For instance, one of the examples they have here is that you are able to do slide import from PPT presentations into Kahoot. So that's very, very good. If you have already something done, can just integrate it immediately, or have some kind of a student-led modes. Don't know what's that, or like collect feedback and opinions with pull and drop in. Yeah, like I guess some kind of more convenient features that you will be able to do anyway, but it's kind of a more of a hassle. So selling comfort behind subscription is also very good, especially if like there's direct value for the user. So I would say that's the mainstream way, and I guess apps will need to switch a little bit more and more into Duolingo, because still, even though it's selling comfort nicely through subscription, you are still not monetizing like 90% of your users, which Duolingo does now that they have these ads. So that's very, very good. But again, the key with the ads, and I guess they run like thousands of A/B tests, is you need to kind of offset some part of your value economy into the ads. So you can buy the lives for gems. It's normal, but you can buy one life for an ad, meaning that you are pretty much giving the user free gems for an ad in its sense, I would say. So there's a budget that somebody designed in the app that said, okay, you can get this many gems through payments, or like playing the game or whatever, and this many per day or per some kind of period of time through ads. And they have then the whole economy budget, and they pretty much cut it down and said, okay, this amount of economy we allocate to ads, and you need to do that. So that's the, I would say, the main point of this whole discussion.
Nice. Okay, cool.
That was good.
So Felix, you want to take it from here and talk about ads, so I can then
I think ads is a nice segment. So if Remo stops moving before I fly to Slovakia and bash his camera against the wall.
Oh, please.
Yeah. So like I said, like this is primarily a gaming podcast, right? But in the last 6 months, I've been working with quite a lot of non-gaming apps as well. And so I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk a bit on the ad revenue sides and compare apps to games, and also give some tips on how you can improve ad revenue. So if you actually have an app. So to first start off, almost a game there as well. To start off, the biggest difference is obviously that apps tend to monetize with subscription instead of IAPs. And that changes the dynamic, how ads and ad revenue can be perceived internally in an organization. Like in gaming companies, specifically hyper casual, ad revenue is front and center. And with apps, you have a lot of functionality, often like Remo said, built in behind a subscription wall. So when you work with apps, typically you'll have a subscription team, and they're usually not happy about implementing anything that gets in the way of user subscribing or gives away any of that functionality for free, in parentheses, even though you're getting ad revenue from it. So you have to kind of do a bit of the same back and forth between like the designers and like you do on the IAP front in games for anything ad related. Usually what helps here quite a lot is actually if you can make estimations, very detailed estimations I can add as well.
With decimals, I guess, right?
With decimals. You can say you can actually estimate like roughly what money can be earned from ads if you hit a certain threshold. On the mediation front, it usually looks a bit different as well. So a lot of apps, they also have a web page or like a web presence, which means that most of these companies use Google Ad Manager on both web and mobile app. So Google Ad Manager is a good mediation like for cross-platform, because that's what it's designed to do. However, the main drawback here is that eCPMs tend to be a bit lower compared to AdMob. And that's because there's no gaming demand, or it's quite hard to actually get gaming demand on GAM. So, for example, they do something called open bidding, but open bidding doesn't support Unity, AppLovin, or Facebook. So it's a bunch of other sources. So if you have video inventory, you're actually missing out on gaming demand eCPMs, and they'll usually be about 10-20% lower than if you do have gaming demand. So if you're actually using GAM and you actually want a Google Ad Manager and you want to start opening up some gaming demand, you actually usually get the people complaining about the quality of the ads because of our discussion on fake ads and sexist ads. Like that's really rampant in the gaming, but not so much in the app industry. But usually I say like it's best to actually try it out and ban these like sources, so you actually get some gaming demand to run it up. There's actually a simple and basic trick if you're
on as well.
You trip because I'm on a trip.
Take a flight to Dublin, then
take a flight to Dublin and make friends with the Google. But if you're actually
using GAM,
if you're using GAM and you want to try some gaming inventory, the networks you'd want to start with is the usual suspects. So AppLovin, Unity, and IronSource is good places to start, and Facebook. You can do that on Google Ad Manager either via SDK. Then you basically have to set up as a yield group and add a tag line item, and then boom, you'll have gaming inventory. Another option, if you have a lot of inventory, so like you have a big app and you don't want to go through the hassle of actually integrating the SDK, but you still want to test gaming inventory before doing the dev work, what you can also do is set up a buyer network via DSP and connect to a programmatic deal and get them in through like Google Ad Manager mediation. You have to pay a bit of a higher cost to Google than you do through an SDK mediation. But if you have significant enough inventory to sell, that means that usually you can get AppLovin or Unity interested and make a direct deal with their DSP. So that's some very specific Google Ad Manager related tips.
By the way, Jakub, do you remember when we talked about these SDK hustles and implementations, how we said it's kind of like a big problem to actually implement multiple SDKs?
It's a very big problem.
Yeah, now he's like, oh, well, SDK hustles. Now he confirms our theory. No, not theory.
I cannot confirm or deny. Ads are beautiful. And the SDKs are the intestines of the ad monetization business. And to get beautiful ads,
it's easy. It would put him out of the job.
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Of course, as usual.
Yeah. So apps usually know their converting moments in their life cycle quite well. In gaming is also quite easy to convince someone that after X amount of time you should show ads and see how the user base reacts. Yeah,
it's not that easy to convince someone, but let's
easier compared to that. But I'd recommend the same. Experiment with both interstitials and banners and start running A/B tests a day or two after typical peak subscription conversion time. So if that's on day 3 and when you're getting new users, I'd say maybe start on day 5. Either with banners, interstitial, and see how it affects retention.
If it's day banners, 7 subscription, when would you start? Day 10? 8,
yeah, exactly. 9? Yeah, a couple of days after. And then basically work my way down. For banners, I'd keep on a refresh rate of about 15 seconds to start with. It's quite aggressive refresh rate, but it's quite good for getting the revenue up. And it's kind of the average that you're usually set in games. So basically start from there and work your way up or down to see how it affects retention.
To end up with recession.
Recession as well.
Also, a top tip for interstitials, set an eCPM floor. So basically that guarantees that you're only showing an interstitial ad if you get paid a high enough eCPM. So basically that will help your retention number. And honestly, experiment. And that's half the battle won here.
If you set the high eCPM floor, does it mean that you will have very low fill rates as well?
Depends where you have. So if you have a bunch of users that are in tier 3 geos or anything like that, the fill is going to be low. But if you have a bunch of US users, you could set a floor of around $7, right? And that means you're only showing interstitials, so you're not affecting retention as much. But that's something really good to play around with, because everyone gets annoyed by interstitials. But if you set a price floor, you're guaranteed to get paid for that annoyance. So you're not always showing it.
Okay, but if then it's 100 impressions for that type of floor, and I don't care.
I'm not saying but I'm not saying set it super high. But the thing also what happens is if you have multiple interstitial show like ad trigger points in your app, what can happen is that if you show more than 4, for example, it's a recency. So you're paid less and less for each impression for the same user. So then you could cap it that way based on how much money you can get instead of capping it on like your side. So you actually let the open market decide instead of you as a designer.
He talks about it like it's so easy.
Yeah, of course. It's easy.
Oh, banner here, 50 seconds, 5 seconds, interstitial every 10 seconds.
Dude, nothing in this life is easy, but nothing in this life that's worth keeping comes easy.
Yeah, of course.
It's basically trading retention for monetization. That's what it is. Let's call it by its right name.
Yeah, and you need to find the sweet spot. That's it.
Yeah.
And if the sweet spot is with high eCPM floors and it won't hurt that retention, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you earn like $5, then that sucks pretty much.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But like that brings us to the rewarded ad unit.
You're zooming out.
All right. The rewarded ad unit, also known as the mighty harpoon of ad monetization in the gaming side, right? So the thing that sticks out here when working with non-gaming apps is that they tend to say that they're very interested in trying it, but they very rarely actually want to follow through and test it. So the bottom line is to give some, you have to give up some portion usually that's behind the app subscription or unlock some new features and then put that behind a rewarded ad unit. So the thing to say here is that like the rewarded ad revenue unit is so accepted on the gaming side of the industry that users are guaranteed to have seen it before. And that wasn't the case a couple of years ago. So usually what I have to do here is I have to explain it like this. So let's say you have a rewarded ad unit that usually gets around $15 global average eCPM. So if you have a DAU of around 40,000 people and only a couple of the percentage are monetizing via subscriptions. So if you get an ad viewer rate of 75% and an IMPDAU, so impression per daily active user, of 4 on that 40K DAU, that's like $1,600 a day in ad revenue or $600K a year. So keep in mind, if more of your DAU is in a tier 1 geo, that eCPM figure will be around $30. So implementing rewarded ads can get you those numbers on the ad revenue side.
Oh, Jakub is shaking his head.
I can already see the Pokemon episode where the guy was selling Magikarp for 500 and he says and if you buy this thing, you can breed it and have 2 for 500 and then you have 4 for 500 and those 4 will have another 4 for 500.
My battle to get respect from Remo, the game designer, continues.
Well, this is even better than my question because I wanted to ask if you use decimals in the eCPM floors as well, but this is definitely better.
Of course you do. Of course,
75% ad conversion, you're super expert already if you can get there. I don't think so. I ever saw that in a game.
Really?
60 okay.
Dude, a lot of games have 75% ad viewer rate, mate.
I maybe to work on too much mid-core games where ads weren't the priority, but still 75% is very, very high.
Yeah, that's really high.
You could even say 50, but it does happen, and it's not.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then we have different decimals,
Yeah, different decimals.
Anyway, I'm going to end my little segment here on a rant over Facebook policy. So nice. I think it was last episode or a couple episodes I mentioned that if you have an app, Meta does not let you set up placements for rewarded video, but actually hides it. So if you have a game, it's super easy to set up a placement for the rewarded ad units. And in the dashboard, it actually says only for gaming. So I got a bit triggered to find out why. So I dived into the Facebook documentation and there's 9 points that you have to meet to be compliant for policies for showing a rewarded ad video. And it's things like tap to play, can't be monetary in nature, so you can't give crypto or a cash transfer. And it's just a bit frustrating that Meta just assumes that you apps don't know how a placement works. And it's the only major ad network in the world that basically makes it hard for apps not to show rewarded ads. And you have to jump through a lot of corporate hoops to be allowed to show Facebook inventory on an app for a rewarded ad placement. So what you can do here is you have to send an internal email through the general contact link. Usually that ends up you bashing your head against the wall. So you actually have to send them your ad placement with pictures and you have to say how you're meeting all these 9 points. Sometimes then the general email, they tend to maybe unlock it after 5 years. So the only way to actually get this unlocked is to have a Facebook rep because they're the only ones who can actually do it.
Yeah, but how can you get Facebook rep? it's not easy to get these
No,
days.
it's not. No, it's just frustrating. It's just like, guys, like you guys are on decline, but why wouldn't you want to show rewarded ads for apps? Like it's just such a no-brainer to me. It's just weird. Yeah.
Sounds again super easy to get, like Series 5 Marvel cards.
Oh my god, suddenly we ended up in Marvel Snap universe. Suddenly.
He just wants to talk about Marvel Snap because there's no ads in that game, and that's why he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, of course. 100%. No, we already talked about it like earlier today, and it was a good discussion, but we can have a discussion about that sometimes during January.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely want to just update the global launch article that I wrote, because it definitely changed some things, and it's good. It's always good to remind ourselves and others how they do and how others can do as well, that we discussed already. So, but back to the app business, actually. So now finally the interesting part.
Are you selling your soul for the app game?
No. I mean, I work with apps here and there. It's very close to gaming in terms of the UA. Slightly different, but if you know how to do UA for games, then well, you will do good job for apps as well. In here, the slight difference is basically in the UA channel mix, where for games the Apple search ads really suck balls. In here for apps, it's actually like a big portion of spend. I would tend to say it's like more than every other channel, because it's really the truth, at least from my experience. If not the biggest, then at least like neck to Facebook or Google or TikTok for sure. But why is this like really important? Well, because of the intent of the user, and because of like how the actually UA how this UA channel works. So user is trying to search for different types of apps, fitness apps, health apps, motivation apps, well, battery savers, whatever, generative AI apps, you name it. So, and this is how the Apple search ads can bring pretty good results, because it actually pairs the results with the user intent. So you might ask, what is the best campaign structure for Apple search ads? So there are like 3 different types and campaigns that you can run and set up from the start, which is brand campaign for brand keywords, competitors in your space, and some generic keywords. So let's say, I will give you an example. Let's say my app is called Generate My Pretty Face with AI. So the brand campaign would be obviously the name of the app, and some other synonyms and some mistakes and typos that can happen. But then you have a competitor campaign, which obviously I would use Lensa AI, and I would use also other apps in this space, such as Dream by Wombo, Reface, Wonder, Cartoon Avatar, Faceplay, GoArt, etc. So you get it. And then in terms of the generic keywords, it's usually like, okay, so AI generated art, generative AI generated images, AI images, and stuff like that. So your app can actually appear in these search results. Obviously, we have more placements in the Apple search ads, but they're still kind of new, and it sucks a little bit. Always if there is something new in the Apple search ads, just wait a couple of weeks or month until everybody tries it, and then the competition kind of fades off, and then that's the best time to actually start running those new placements.
It's like the opposite, huh?
Yeah, it's like, look, so there was this new placement, I think last year, before these 2 days tabs and other placements. Man, I tried it and it was so fucking expensive, and they charged based on CPM model, not CPI or tab. It was ridiculous. Now it's fine, because not nobody, but the competition is definitely way lower. So yeah, just wait a little bit. And well, if you don't have like super high budgets and you're trying to be a little bit more efficient, just wait a bit.
Question.
Yeah.
So just for context, like for an app, what's a CPI in the States, like for a fitness app or something like that, just compared to gaming? So I know like how expensive it is on Apple search ads.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I guess that's the same situation with genre. Depends
Yeah, exactly.
on the app genre.
It's super different. It's super different.
Is it
And
sub
different
$10 or is it like above
Oh,
$10?
well, of course, yeah, of course. No. It's
Crypto
definitely,
app.
Yeah.
definitely sub $10. Depends on the actual keywords and like how well optimized is your campaign. For start, it can be like if you use if you start running the campaigns like right now and you then optimize as you go, then it can start like $5-10 and then you just optimize and get down or lower the CPI afterwards. But I would start in US and then adding other geo campaigns, like 1 geo per campaign based on the revenue obviously that you have or you see in your internal dashboards. So but then that's Apple search ads. Then we have the usual suspects here like Google, Facebook, TikTok, and honestly sometimes even ad networks. It depends on like what kind of app you have and if it's very close to what the Aku mentioned at the beginning. If it's Redecor is more game, but you can have different coloring apps, different what else? I think different apps.
Coloring apps are kind
they're
of
more
same
games as well.
Redecor.
Yeah, more
Redecor
games
is
as
basically
well.
coloring app.
Oh yeah, true. Okay,
by the way,
okay.
it's from Reworks.
Reworks.
Bought
Yeah.
by Playtika in 2021 for 600 million.
So okay.
So that's my correction there.
Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, usually like my usual combo is Apple search ads, Facebook, and TikTok. Because for some reason the apps I managed before and sometimes I come to contact are mainly published on iOS. But if you have an Android version, Google Ads is a must, obviously. So easy. And then if you have ad monetization, then all the ad networks that can work on the AdROS campaigns as well. In terms of the creatives, the creative brainstorming and the production is always a great exercise, not only for games but for apps as well. And here like Jakub mentioned, the gameplay won't do the trick. Just showing up your app won't do the trick because you need in those creatives you need to showcase like what is your app solving actually, like what kind of problem. So you can use usually like these let's call them testimonials, both in static images or videos. But for apps, static images actually worked always very well for me. So they're cheaper to produce, but also the lifespan of the creatives is shorter as well.
So you use Matt Damon with Crypto.com?
For example, you use Matt Damon with Crypto.com.
Looking at Mars.
Looking. Yeah, you can do that as well. And then the easy trick would be that everybody knows, turn this best performing static to video. So it's Matt Damon, Crypto.com looking or like his eyes are going to shine. that would be very easy. Very easy video. But here, for the app specifically, like you said, like the UGC content makes much more sense because it can like underline the messaging so much. And Matt Damon like showing up for Crypto.com, that's perfect. That's perfect. But like if showing up a real face that talks about like the problem solving of your app actually does, amazing. In terms of like experimenting here, obviously using different UGC or influencers is a great way to iterate on a winner creative. Here is a slightly different in terms of the creative brainstorming because, as I said, like you need to be showcasing the problem solving. Then you can try different approaches. I've just read an article about misleading ads in different genres or different verticals than games. So might be interesting option. Most probably I wouldn't go for it, but then if you
they also have misleading ads.
Yeah, they also have misleading ads. Oof.
What?
You think it's a crypto trading app, but it's really a language learning app.
Yeah, there you go.
We should do an episode on that, definitely.
No, okay, yeah, I will bring up the article next time, and we can definitely talk about it. Okay, then in terms of the campaign optimization, this all depends on the monetization strategies. All like both of you discussed. Obviously, there are in this world, like a lot of subscription apps. So it's more about how you can leverage different events and how you can optimize for subscription. But if you have a hybrid app, which is great, and as one marketing maven or industry analyst mentioned in the past, this is the wet dream of the UA manager because you can combine all of these optimization and leverage the ad networks.
Did you just call yourself a maven?
Well, that was in the Pocket Gamer article.
Last time it was industry analyst.
Yeah, this time it was So this time,
how do you promote? How do you go from analyst to maven?
I don't know. Well, it's apparently
you never know.
yeah, that's apparently what you do in gaming when you just publish articles that are actually useful for people. You become Maven. Okay, so but back to the actually campaign optimization. So you don't always only optimize for free trials or subscription events, but you try to do this experimentation on different events within your app. And even you can set up a combined events. So, for example, if you take the generate my pretty face with AI example, you can combine an event, let's say free trial, and then generate the profile picture in one event. So every time these two actions actually happen, you will send an event and then optimize for it, because this indicates that this user that you just acquired is actually more engaged. And this is all that matters. You can also try to experiment on different events, like generated profile picture like 5 times in last 3 days, or well, in the first 3 days of the user journey. You can whatever it happens between a free trial and subscription. You can even try to look into different events that happens after subscription. But then the problem would be it just takes a long time to actually get to that level and get those data in. So ideally, you're looking on like day 1, day 2, maybe day 3 of data points, and then use that in the campaign optimization as an event. So yeah, that's easy.
Sounds always easy.
Always sounds easier than it is.
Yeah,
unless you're speaking to Remo about it, because then he'll give you so much shit.
One more thing that you mentioned, Felix, about the web pages, because then that came into my mind. A lot of apps have these web pages with subscriptions and everything there, so they don't need to pay the 30% on the App Store side of things. So how do you run UA for that? It's the same thing with just different events that you need to optimize and different, let's say, tracking solutions. But then you are using, you can't use Apple Search Ads, but you can use actually Google AdWords and the actual search that was before. Also available on the app, on the mobile side, but now it's available on the website. And then Facebook, TikTok, you can run these UA channels based on the events again, like you said. So it can be subscription in this case, it can be free trial in this case, it can be as well like different things that users actually do in the app afterwards. So yeah, there you go. And also, so thank you very much, TikTok, for sending me a lot of swag. Next time I'm bringing either a cap or some other things for the podcast. It's been a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, I think like the main thing out of this is that you need to know your value economy, even though it's an app, and then you need to be able to sell it properly.
Yeah,
and therefore based on that you set up your UA setup and creatives that are fake.
Not fake, dude. Come on, it's not fake. Well, next time we'll shut up about the
fake Maven. Fake Maven.
Fake Maven.
You're a fake Maven. All right, let's finish there so we get below the 50-minute mark.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching as well. Definitely subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, and wherever else. And keep sending us the feedback. We really appreciate it. And Jakub is moving like an idiot, so the camera moves as well. So this is the best time to end this. Yeah. Until next time, thank you very much, guys. Bye.